None of this matters if you can't get your emails in your subscriber's inbox. So let's jump in and take a look at email deliverability.
More importantly, let's talk about how you can make sure that your emails actually get to the inbox and continue to be delivered to the inbox of your subscribers. Why does this matter? Why can't we just send emails? Well, this stat is why. Worldwide, less than 80% of bulk or commercial intent emails land in the inbox of the subscriber. This means that for every 5 emails you send, or the average bulk emailer sends, that one of those emails never reaches the intended subscriber or recipient. Now, 1 out of 5 may not sound like that big of a deal, but what if we take that same calculation and increase it? What if you cut your email list by 20%? How does that feel? Right? 1 out of 5 sounds okay. 100,000 out of 500,000, right? A million out of 5 million doesn't sound that great. So when we talk about email deliverability, what are we talking about? Let's define it first and then talk about how we can impact or affect it. Email deliverability is simply a sender's ability to deliver emails to their subscribers' inboxes. It's an indicator of how reputable you are as a bulk sender in terms of the quality of your email list, how it was built, and how you maintain it, the email sending volume or frequency, and a ton of other factors that we're going to dive into right now. So each of the factors of deliverability kind of fall into 3 categories, right? 3 categories. The first one is your sender or mailer or bulk mailer reputation. Now, this is just a score that internet service providers or ISPs assign to you, your organization, your business, your domain. The higher the score, the more emails make it into the inbox. Email deliverability is largely determined by your sender reputation. Again, the better your sender reputation, the more likely your email will be delivered to your recipient's inbox. So let's talk about the factors that go into your sender reputation. And listen, the way to think about a sender reputation is a credit score for your email marketing, right? It's a credit score. Are you reputable? Can you be trusted? Will you pay this loan back, or will you treat our clients or customers the right way? Because the thing you have to think about when it comes to email deliverability is the role of the internet service provider is to protect their customer, their client. It may be your subscriber, but they're a client of Gmail, they're a client of Apple Mail, they're a client of Yahoo, Hotmail, AOL, Outlook. It is not your client, it's your subscriber on their platform. The way that they protect their subscriber is make sure they get all the emails they want and they never miss them, and they aren't bothered by emails that they don't want, especially spam. Your job is to make sure that you don't look, act, or smell like a spammer. So what do spammers do? How do you not do that? What don't spammers do? What don't they take the time to do? How do you make sure that you make the time to do that? So the first factor when we're talking about our reputation is your email volume, right? What is the average send size of an email? Are you broadcasting your entire list every time you send? Now, when we look at volume, we look at average monthly volume, but also average mail volume, right? How many mails are you sending? How large is the send? Are you sending to segments of your list or the entire list? If you're sending the entire list, we have to make sure that you have high engagement mechanism or metrics as well. We'll talk about that later. So email volume. Are you a very high bulk rate sender? Email content, right? Hold on, back to email volume. Why does email volume matter? Well, spammers don't segment. Spammers get a list, whether they've stolen it, scraped it, bought it, they blast one offer to the entire list and move on. If it looks like that's what you're doing, then there's a chance that you could be a spammer, and it's the role of the ISP, it's their job to protect their client, your subscriber, their client, from you and your spam messages. If you are sending some broadcast mails to the entire list and then some to segmented, high value segments of that list, you'll start to look more like a reputable sender than a spammer. Same with content. When we're talking about content, we have to know what spam intent or high likelihood of spam email content is. What are the phrases? What are the words? This has gone way down over the past 10 to 12 years when we're talking about what triggers these different content, not blocks, but flags. But still, you need to know for your industry and for your market, your niche, what are spam type content or phrases, and how do you avoid using them? So set this up in your email. In your email copywriting, make sure that everyone who's writing email knows words that we don't use, and even phrases that you use as replacements to those words. Again, how do you not look like a spammer? Spam traps hit. If you are hitting spam traps, then you look like a spammer. So you don't need to hit spam traps. How do you hit spam traps? Well, you scrape email addresses from the internet. You buy email addresses and have spam traps on there, or you don't practice proper list hygiene. Right? Spam traps become spam traps predominantly from abandoned email addresses. So an abandoned email address over a couple of years will be turned into a spam trap, and the ISP will know that they didn't subscribe to anyone's email list. And if someone randomly starts emailing them, then it was not a permission-based email. It'll hit a spam trap, and now your reputation will take a major hit because, well, whether you intended to or not, you're spamming, right? You're spamming. Spam is email sent without permission, bulk email sent without permission. If you sent that email to 100,000 people and it hit one spam trap, congratulations, you're intentionally or otherwise a spammer. Now your blacklist status. So if you hit a blacklist with your domain or with your IP, then you're going to show up on blacklists, and again, that's going to negatively affect your sender reputation. Right? Think of spam traps as late payments on your credit history. Think of blacklists as filing bankruptcy. Right? So filing bankruptcy, it's a pretty big deal. Hard bounces. So remember, a hard bounce is either a fake email address or a misspelled email address, basically an email address that doesn't exist. If you were emailing and a large segment of your email addresses do not exist and they're returned back, then hard bounces show that you're not practicing good list hygiene. Those people likely aren't signing up to your email list, and you are, wait for it, a spammer. Again, just show the ISPs that you're not a spammer by doing the things that spammers don't do and not doing the things they do. And finally, complaints, right? This is a big, not only engagement mechanism, but this is a big factor in your sender reputation. When you send people emails, are they complaining about them? People mark spam for spam messages that get through. People complain about spam messages that get through. So if the ISPs allow your message through to their clients, to their users, are their users complaining about you? If so, negative reputation, less of your emails get delivered. All right, next, the second kind of category of factors of deliverability is your infrastructure. When we say infrastructure, we're referring to the technical aspects of your email sending program. The technical setup that tells the ISPs that you're a reputable bulk mailer, not a spammer. So the behind the scenes stuff that you've done to authenticate you are who you say you are. And here's a bigger deal. You understand what is asked of you to make it easy for each of the internet service providers to know that you are a reputable mailer, right? So part of it is knowing what they want and showing that you're willing to do it. What does that mean? Your IP address, right? First, your IP address. Now, there are kind of two categories of IP addresses, or that IP addresses fall into for email marketers. You're either on a shared IP pool or you have a dedicated IP or IP addresses. Now, if you're a very, very large sender, you're likely using dedicated IP addresses. If you only have one, you should definitely get more, right? We need to make sure that we're monitoring our IP addresses. The good news about having dedicated IP address or addresses is you kind of control your own destiny, right? Your IP and sender infrastructure aspect of your mailer reputation kind of lives or dies on your email marketing activities, right? If you're not a spammer, if you know what you're doing, if you're following everyone's rules, good list hygiene, high engagement, then no one else can negatively impact that. If you're not, then no one else can offset your inefficiencies. Now, when we're talking about shared IP pools, there's a lot of benefits here in the fact that you're not the only one monitoring. If you have a shared IP address, it's probably because you're with an email client like an ActiveCampaign or a Constant Contact or a MailChimp, maybe a ConvertKit. They are issuing you an IP address or IP addresses, and they are putting you on a block of IP addresses with other senders. They are also monitoring the engagement factors of those senders. If they violate their spam complaint thresholds or if they hit a blacklist, then someone else is responsible for removing that person and also cleaning that IP and rotating a new one in. So IP addresses matter. So does your email client, right? Email clients have their own sender reputation or sender score. So making sure that we are using a reputable email client, because spammers can't get an account at a reputable email client. If you use a known spam email client, then you look like, smell like, and are acting like a spammer. So you're going to get treated like a spammer. You're not worth the risk of putting in the inbox. So make sure the email client you use is reputable and check on their delivery. A quick Google search of best deliverability email clients and then the year will give you a good indication of the top 3 to 5 in this calendar year. Now, I would encourage you not to hop from email client to email client, because again, that looks like a spammer, right? If your domain name is moving and emails originating from different places frequently, then you start to look like a spammer. If you're following proper email marketing tactics and practices and list hygiene, and you're in an email client that's in the top 5, this should have no negative impact on you whatsoever. Feedback loops, again, if you're managing your own email server, you're managing your own MTP or STMP, you're managing your own IP addresses, then you're also likely managing your own feedback loops. Feedback loops are just the process of setting up a communication with each of the ISPs so that if someone clicks the unsubscribe button on their platform, it alerts them that their user no longer wants to receive emails from you as the sender, and you as the sender have provided them a URL or a feedback loop or an email that they forward that request to, and it's automatically removed from your system. Spammers don't set up feedback loops, right? If you're with an active campaign, a Keep, a Constant Contact, if you're with one of these managed email clients, then they likely have this taken care of. If you're managing your own email server, then you need to make sure that you have all of these feedback loops set up and that they're maintained, because if Gmail subscriber asks to unsubscribe through Gmail and Gmail doesn't have a place for you to send that, you look like a spammer. If they send it to you and it no longer works and that person continues to receive email from you, you are a spammer, unintentionally or not. So feedback loops matter. Domain authority, right? Domain authority matters. This is a big one. You've got to make sure the higher the domain authority, the higher the probability that you are a reputable sender. So if you have low domain authority, or if you have some sort of negative domain, if your domain name has done some bad stuff before you bought it, right? You need to make sure that you're not sending emails from that domain. So making sure you understand your domain authority, the higher deliverability. So if you're a reputable domain, or if you're a reputable company with a high authority domain, this is going to help you a lot. Now we get into super technical stuff. So SPF, right? These are authentication protocols. These are ways that we're going to use backend code to let the ISPs know, is this us? Right? Do we understand how to make it easy on them to find out if we are the ones sending the email, or if someone else is trying to spoof this email and send it from us? SPF authorizes other IP addresses or domain addresses to send your email. So when you sign up for an active campaign, when you sign up for your email client, you need to make sure that you set up SPF records saying that active campaign emails originating from active campaign with your domain address are actually authorized to send that email, and they are from you. And we do that with SPF records. So if you're sending emails from your CRM, if you're sending emails from your email client, if you're sending emails from your customer support ticket system, if you're sending emails from any software, right? If they originate from any IP address or domain other than yours, but they say they're coming from yours in the from message, you need to make sure that you've gone in and you've set up SPF records through your domain registrar. Now, this is not hard at all. I would encourage you to do a quick Google search by SPF record setup for whatever your registrar is, and then go to whichever email platform you're looking for, whichever software solution is sending your email, and look up their SPF records, and it'll take about 3 minutes, and you can set all those up. Now, the next authentication protocol is called DKIM, Domain keys identified mail. This is another authentication protocol that speaks to the origination of the email, right? This one is really there to avoid spoofing and campaigns from phishing, right? So this makes sure that no one can go in and plug in your email address or plug in your domain and pretend to send email from you, and that the email that is coming from you is not a spoofed email, right? It's not a spoofed email. So setting up your DKIM records, a little bit more difficult than SPF, but not that bad. A quick Google search will get it done, and there are plenty of services out there that can not only check these records for you, but also handle the setup for a nominal fee. Finally, DMARC. Right, DMARC is another authentication protocol that's going to protect sender domains from unauthorized use. So all three of these technical setups are there to show that email that originates with your URL, with your domain on it, even if it's not coming from your IP or your domain where that domain is hosted, that it's from you. It's not from anyone else. No one is spoofing you. You're not, the ISPs don't have to worry about allowing your emails into your subscriber and their client's inbox, right? Why? Because you've set all these things up. Who doesn't set this stuff up? Spammers. What is our role? We don't look like, act like, or smell like a spammer. Spammers don't set up SPF records, DKIM records, and DMARC, right? Spammers don't have feedback loops set up because they don't care. Spammers roll through IP addresses at an alarming rate. Spammers can't use reputable email clients. Spammers don't have domains, not domains that they own that have high authority. If you can say the same about yourself, then the ISPs are not going to think or have a reason to believe that you're a spammer. So make sure this is done. All right, finally, the final kind of category or factor of deliverability, and really there's two in this one. So your subscriber engagement. This is just measuring how your subscribed contacts interact with your email campaigns, both positively and negatively. So we're going to have positive subscriber engagement factors as well as negative subscriber engagement factors. Let's put our best foot forward and talk about the positive engagement factors first. So these are the things that your subscribers do that are the clients of the ISPs that tell the ISPs they are happy to receive email from you. They want to see it because they are engaging with it positively. What are those positive engagement actions? Opens, right? When your subscribers or their clients are opening your emails on a consistent basis, that's them telling the ISP, I want to continue to receive these emails. Please make sure that I see them. Read time. Now, read time can be both positive and negative, right? It can be both positive and negative. When we're talking read time, we want to talk about the longer the read time, the more positive it is, right? If someone opens, scrolls, and deletes or marks as spam or unsubscribes, the read time is limited, and the next action is negative, right? If they open it and they skim it a little bit, that's better. If they open it and they're on there and the lateral scroll rate is good and the average time reading is good, another indication that this person is excited about receiving emails from you because they are consuming it. Now clicks, right? So if someone's reading your emails and then clicking your emails, these are all ways of that individual client telling the ISP that they're a client of, I'm engaged with this email. I want to receive them because of these things. Now, if they're forwarding, right, and this is a big one, if they are forwarding your email to other people, as long as it's not spoof at, complaints at, something like that. But if they're forwarding their emails to people in their contacts, this is kind of another way of them telling their ISPs that they want to receive your content. This is quality content. They're engaged with it. This is almost them sponsoring you and vouching for you every time they do one of these things. The next positive engagement mechanism is starring or marking your message as important. This is why your indoctrination campaign is so important, so critical. Tell them what to do. Tell them to create a folder or a filter. Tell them to mark your messages as important so they never miss them. If you indoctrinate someone appropriately and you make sure to bond with them, you make sure to clearly state the benefit of being a subscriber, and then they believe it, having them star or mark your message is important. Having them create a folder or a filter seems like the next logical step if they've agreed that it is valuable because they don't want to miss it. So indoctrination has everything to do with your email deliverability. Finally, whitelisting. Again, something that you should be focused on inside of your indoctrination campaign. Have your new subscribers, after you've clearly stated the value and the benefit of being a subscriber, star mark your messages as important, set up those filters, whitelist your send from email addresses and domain. This will go a long way, not only to make sure that the emails are being delivered to them, but the more people that do this on Gmail, on Apple Mail, it'll increase your overall mailer reputation on that ISP, on that platform. All right, those were the positive engagement factors. Let's talk about the negative engagement factors. So, deleting or archiving your email message without opening is engagement, but it is not a positive one. It's a negative one. They didn't unsubscribe. They didn't mark as spam, but they didn't open it either. They just deleted it without reading it or archived it without reading it. That shows that they are not interested in your email, or at least that one. Unsubscribe. Again, I don't want to receive these emails anymore. I'm uninterested. If they mark your email as spam, right? This is a big one. Not only am I uninterested, it's the opposite of vouching for you, right? This is complaining about you. This is saying, I didn't authorize this email. This person should not be sending me emails, and maybe not anyone else either. Time in the inbox. So almost like your read rate, time in the inbox can be a positive or a negative, right? If an email from you sits in your subscriber's inbox for a long period of time without them opening it, that's a negative indicator. If it comes to the inbox and they open your emails immediately or within a short period of time, that's a positive engagement indicator. So how long are your emails sitting in your subscriber's inbox before they open them? And then and then your read rate picks up after they do open them. So if something sits in your subscriber's inbox for days or weeks before they open it, if they open it and they archive it, they open it and they delete it, they open it and they skim it, you're gonna kind of double down on some negative impact or negative indicators there. All right, so that's it with the factors of engagement, right? Both positive and negative engagement, and that's it for the categories of email deliverability factors. But what I do want to leave you with is a few tools you can use to not only track but improve your email deliverability. So let's go into tool time. The first tool that you should be and could be using is senderscore.org. Now, senderscore.org is going to give you your sender reputation, your sender score, right? Anything above or at or below 70, bad, right? Bad, you're not getting in the inbox, but they're going to tell you what that score is. It's way easier to get your score if you are using a dedicated IP address, right? Shared IP addresses, you need to know all of them, and it's harder to monitor your score. But if you're using dedicated IP addresses, senderscore.org is something you should be using. barracudacentral.org. This is going to be a great way to just check on blacklist, check on your reputation, and check and see what your risk level is for ISPs to deliver your mail. Same with trustedsource.org. Trustedsource.org. It's going to give you risk levels and threats. Gmail's Postmaster tools, Google's Postmaster tools. So gmail.com/Postmaster. This is going to check all your technical setup, your MX records, your SPF records, your DKIM records. It's going to let you know your spam complaint rates with Gmail. This is an amazing suite of tools that every email marketer should have. MXtoolbox.com. Again, this is something else that's going to do a quick check of your MX records, do a quick check of those DKIM, SPF records, not only tell you if they're there, but tell you if they're configured properly. And finally, mailmonitor.com. Now, this is a great way to get an early indication on deliverability per domain. So mailmonitor.com allows you to sign up for their service. They give you some seed addresses at each of the major ISPs or email domains. You upload those and include them in every broadcast, and they'll report on your inboxing. So these tools make it easier to not only verify, check, improve, and monitor your email deliverability.